People of the Purple Butterfly here, otherwise known as People of 7 on Twitter and YouTube, people are elsewhere on the internet. My blog is located at purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com, and my soaps, Purple Butterfly Soaps, could be located at people.etsy.com, and my t-shirt designs, purplebutterfly-people.tmail.com. And I figured try a slightly different format here. I got a new headset or earbuds, so for this is called Chic Buds from eBay, company called Altec. I'll find a link and put it down there. These things are so cool. I can't hear nothing in the background. When I turn it on for my game or music or whatever, it's like a party in your head. It's like, yeah. In the meantime, it comes with a microphone that I could push, a one-button control like thing, so I could turn on the video, turn off the video, you know, the stuff you would normally do with, you know, the two-button system. And in the meantime, it's time to cut the hot process version of the Chef Soap. So that's why we're here. And I figure if I cut it here, you'll still be able to see it on camera. This is the overflow mode. Okay, we might need to go to a wireless system at some point in the future because the cord keeps getting stuck. But yeah. But it's hot process, so it should be completely ready. Now in the overflow mode, because I literally scraped it up from what was left over from the cook, I added some distilled water and mushed it back together because we don't, you know, throw away anything. And if it could be used for its proper intent, that's what we do with it. So, yeah. That needs longer to set up and dry. But this has been sitting here for nearly 24 hours, so it is definitely ready. And we'll know that for sure and true in a second. Ta-da! That's complete. So, oh man, it smells good. I'm thinking we're gonna switch the view or vantage point here, so that way we could bring the camera over and give you that bird's eye view we all like so much. And that should help with this cord being in the way too. I got an idea. Since lighting is always an issue, and this is on a bin, how about I bring it to where the light is? I should have thought of that like weeks ago. Yeah, so you can see that now, right? Now also what I do when I have a decorative on the top, and this is good for when you also have like piping or whatever, you don't want to cut the soap head on because all those decorations might decide to fall off, so you cut it sideways. And yeah, that's completely set. That's why it just slid right on out of there. And I'm going to put it, as soon as I release this side, ever notice how when you have molds like this, one side always wants to release that seal immediately and the other side wants to make you work? Tell you what I'm gonna do. That's why we have very sharp blades in the soaping world. Only have to release the seal on one part. The rest will follow suit, as you see. Give me a second. Wasn't that fun? But like I said, when you release one side of a soap, you know, break the seal, the rest just say, hey, I wanted to try it too. So that's what just happened there. It just literally popped right off in a smooth, quick, gave up the ghost type format. I'm going to move this over here. Or not. Let's see. Yeah. That will still work. I just need to adjust the angle a little. Or put something under it. So, let's try this. Actually, it probably needs to be a little bit lower instead of higher. So, we'll move everything else up a level. Maybe better. Yeah, that'll work. Just release the back. And you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and cut it in this regular format. And if anything falls off, it just fell off. Yeah. So this is the chef soap that was done as a hot process soap. But as you can tell, it looks almost exactly the same except for the rusticness of the sides. Because, well, it was cooked, and that's a texture that's found almost exclusively on hot processed soap. If it's found on cold processed soap, it's because someone did something to make it look like that on purpose. Yeah, I almost guarantee. Now the difference between this one and this one, that's the cold processed one, that's the hot processed one. The hot processed one is just a little bit taller, has a more rustic look, and as you can tell, the cold processed one is just a little teeny tiny bit shorter. See, like this part here, it's got, I mean, I could literally cut that off and it'll be the same size, but why? And here's the difference between this. This is cooked and ready to go right now. Give it a week, a couple of days to a week or two cure to get really, really hard, and it's out the door. This was made about a week ago, and it still has 3 more weeks to cure, which means it won't be ready until April the 4th. This is ready now. It's already hard now. Yeah. I was going to try the stick blender hot process method, And apparently I didn't get the oils hot enough, because for the stick blender hot process method to work, your oils have to be extremely hot so it cooks itself. Instead, because it didn't get hot enough, it didn't do the volcano and all that, basically I just ended up cooking it on top of the stove, which is still fine. I was a hot processor and cold processor long before I was a stick blender hot processor method. So I know what to do when, certain things fail. Like, if the hot processing method from the stick blender failed, most people would just go, oh well, let's just give it a cure time, so forth and so on, because at that point it will be a CP soap that happened to be processed from a cook. Well, I know how to hot process, so when the stick blender method failed, I stuck it on the stove and just kept cooking it until it became soap. So I still have a hot process soap. It's just not the stick blender hot process method. Yeah. Of course, the problem with that is you get more of those rustic bits that pop off. But that's fine, because whenever something pops off, I just, smooth it back in. Keep right on cutting, let it finish setting up. I'm weird that way. Yeah. Theoretically, I was supposed to cut this hours ago. I just didn't. So some of those pieces might decide to chunk off just because it's been allowed to set up and get hard, and I'm cutting it a little bit late. But I know how to handle that too. I'm going to demonstrate that if I can. Okay. If you go to cut a hot process soap or cold process soap that's been there too long, what you're going to do is you cut it the way you normally would. Now you're going to take your blade or your knife and slide it, then separate it. That way, if there was a piece that would have popped off, like that little chunk there, the sliding the blade back smooths it and delays its ability to, chunk off. And the little bit that would have chunked off, like this little slither here, I could fix a slither. What's hard is to fix a big old chunk like that. See what I'm saying? That popped off when I did the first cut, and I know how to just stick that right back in there. That's going to be the personal piece anyway, so it's not going to matter. Yeah. There we go. Slide that blade, lift the blade. Perfect edges. Yes. Like I said, I've been hot processing for a long time. I even have a video on how to get the top of your hot process smooth when it's starting out with that rustic look. Rustic look is fine, but not everybody wants a rustic look on their soap. That part was actually soft. So the soft parts, you could just smush back in there. Get it as smooth as possible. And then right before it could set up fully, take that blade and trim it out. Yeah. See that little part there? And now it's back to one piece. Yep, yeah. I know that was chunk. I felt it. See, when you cook a soap, some of it might get cooked too much and it'll leave big chunks in the soap, which is also what causes that rustic look. But that's fine if you know how to fix it. Yeah. But somebody commented, and I had already explained to them, you never want to cut this way. I mean, when I did that with the initial chop, it's because the chopper's here, my body's here. There's no way I can accidentally go into myself. But theoretically and practically, you want to push it away from yourself. That way, like if I was using the tapping blade, there'd be no way I would just take it towards me because, well, first of all, the tapping blade is 12 inches long. Actually, it's longer because the soap mold I use it in is 12 inches and I have room on both sides. So you don't want to take something that's over, 12 inches towards yourself, because if you lose control of it, then you're going to lose, things that are precious to you, like body parts. So just basically aim away from yourself. That's like if I show the cutter to you, the blade is a little bit out here, but it's a lot out here. So when I slide it, I'm sliding it towards, the shorter side. And that gives me basically confirmation that the cut and the slide went all the way through. Yeah. And then of course, the little bolt that holds the guide in nice and flat decides it wants to be crooked now. So let's fix that. I discovered it before it decided to be an issue. That last cut was not crooked, so yeah. But if it was, that would just be a personal piece. Yeah. It's escaping, it's escaping. Now, the one thing I find interesting, the scent was added after the cook, and I think there's a slight amount of vanilla in the World's Finest Vanilla scent, or fragrance oil rather, but this hasn't changed any colors, so I'm thinking it might actually get darker as time goes by, but it's not doing it at the moment. But the overflow, it is darker. See? And as more oxygen gets in there, it might darken up substantially. So we're going to visit this in a couple of days just to see how much it does darken. Like I said, that was a personal bar. See how skinny that is compared to the regular bars? Because that's the part that got cut off when I sliced it right through the middle there. Well, not through the middle, at the end of the cutter. I do have a plan in mind for that though. I'm going to get a piece of wood that's the same size as this cutting board or cutter and anchor it some kind of way, maybe on the side, so that way it'll be smooth. So that way it's as long as my longest soap mold, so that way I can just cut and go without having to worry about, oh, we have to compensate for the fact that this is longer, and then the soap itself, the bar, if you, or the batch rather, say for instance I was trying to cut it and I didn't cut off the bottom, the entire thing would lift up like this. So then you end up with something that might be a little hinky. It'll either be uneven or it'll be issues. Let's just put it that way. I discovered that when I was using that cheese cutter to cut soaps. I still use that for a lot of things because, well, that wire cuts through everything like butter with no issues. And if you have a soap that happens to be really, really hard, it really, really helps. Okay, now just don't use it on a coconut soap because, well, coconut might break that wire. And I am not kidding even a little bit. For a coconut, I don't even use this blade. I have that original blade with the miter board. This will actually work in my miter, but that blade has been more dependable than this newfangled one. The one that I'll make another video at some point in time to show you the miter and blade. That blade was this thick. It was curved to give you more support here, and it was longer. And when it went through something, especially a coconut soap, it went through it, you know. This might actually struggle on that miter. Yep, I'm pretty sure of that. How about I just move this back a little teeny bit to compensate for that crooked edge. Yeah. And then I'll line it up. And then slide this where I need it. And then tighten the bolt. Yeah. There are times I just want to take that part off. And then it occurs to me that still won't solve the problem because there's a bolt in the middle that's literally bolted into the board, which means I would have to take a hacksaw or something and chop it off at that part. And I don't use major metal implements because I have a blood disorder. So, yeah. My doctor fussed at me about using this. And I told him, I said, I'm more proficient using a blade than I am using my car. And I was a school bus driver for over a decade. So he took my word for it and said, okay, just be careful. Well, duh. That's like saying, oh, you're making soap? Be careful. Well, yeah, duh. Nobody goes into soap making clueless. There are people that won't make a lye-based soap. I use the no lye method. You mean you're using melt and pour? Well, yeah, there's no lye in that. Yeah, there's no lye in your finished product, but there was lye in the melt and pour because you can't have soap without lye. But I always find those conversations amusing. It's like, okay, wait till you find out the part of the conversation that's cracking me up and what I'm finding funny. And let's see if we can get you to make some lye soap so you can see how safe it is. You know, people don't want to have that conversation. But anyway, let me take you with me so you can see the finished cut. Aren't those gorgeous? And this has been People7 on Twitter and YouTube, people elsewhere on the internet. My blog is located at purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com, and my soaps, Purple Butterfly Soaps, can be located at people.etsy.com, and my t-shirt designs, purplebutterfly-people.tmail.com. Y'all stay blessed, stay tuned. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Bye now.